So I rarely call myself a reseller, and I probably never will. Here's the reason why.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hello my darlings, it's Dion Dean. Welcome back to another video. So now that I've been back on Posh for, let's say, like a month and a half in preparation for building my Poshmark closet for the fall winter months, there are some observations that I have that I want to talk about in hopes that it'll help you become a better seller on Posh, not even just Posh, but your online store in general. So I have my notebook here. Let's get right into it. So one of the things that I've noticed within this community, this online community, whether it be Posh, eBay, Etsy, Mercari, is that we are calling ourselves resellers outside of the reselling community. Within the community, that's fine, right? That's how we identify ourselves. But I really think that we're doing ourselves a disservice when we call ourselves resellers, or I'm just reselling, or I'm just thrifting the bins. And no, you have a full retail operation, and you need to label it as such. If you do not, then you go into it thinking that you're just a reseller. When no, you're in competition, and we talked about this in other Poshmark tip videos that I've done. I'll leave a link up here. But you really need to see yourself as a retailer in competition with the likes of The Real and ThredUp and Nordstrom Rack and Saks off Fifth, and even sometimes the actual mainline stores, because people are spending money with you that they would spend in other places. Does that make sense? So I think the first thing that we need to do, this isn't one of the tips, but the first thing I want to address is really your mindset. If you are someone who is selling on Poshmark, on eBay, on Etsy, whatever these platforms may be, change your mind, and it will change the way that you look at and approach your business. Now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, the first tip that I have for anybody that is selling on a reselling platform is to check the brand site of the brand that you're selling. I am going to speak from personal experience. I am shopping for a vacation that I'm taking are we in September yet? No, almost in September, that I'm taking in September. And I'm looking for a lot of Anthropologie, plus size Anthropologie. Now, when I go onto the Anthropologie site and I look at the plus size section, yes, the dresses can be, $150 to $200 on sale. You can definitely get a dress for $99 or $89. And then when they have an additional sale, maybe once or twice a month, you can get 30 to 40% off of Anthropologie Plus. Now, I don't know about anybody else's brand, but I'm just speaking from experience. So when I go onto Poshmark and I go onto eBay and I see dresses that are listed for $150, Poshmark price, not the MSRP, not the listed price, or whatever they call it on Posh, whatever we call it on Posh. But the price that you are offering is higher than than that dress costs on the actual site. Come on. Now, I understand there are some dresses that are hard to find, and so we are listing them higher because they're hard to find. But as a consumer, from a consumer's point of view, I'm always going to go to the site first and shop the sales section first. And definitely if they have like 30, 40% off first, I'm going to go there before I go to Posh, right? And so I would say, if you decide to sell on Posh or whatever platform, and if you decide to sell a brand, make sure that you're not bastardizing your own sales by pricing higher than the brand site. Another example, Kurt Geiger. You can get Kurt Geiger at Nordstrom. You can get Kurt Geiger on the Kurt Geiger website. You can also get Kurt Geiger on Nordstrom Rack. So if I go to Nordstrom Rack and see a bag, let's say the bag was $200, now it's $100. But then I come to Posh and you have it for $150. Are you going to get my business, or is Nordstrom Rack going to get my business? You see where I'm going with this? And so the number one tip that you want to do for me would be to check your competitor or check the actual brand site to make sure that you're not higher than the brand. Because most of us are going to go for the brand website rather than get it pre-owned or even new with tags, new without tags on Posh. So that's tip number one. So this is gonna kind of tie into what I said earlier. Number two is buy what you love. Now, I am different in my resale business in that I am moving towards vintage, but even with things that are not vintage, I buy what I love and let the chips fall where they may. There's a lot of information out here on what other people in our industry are purchasing, and those videos are so great to watch. But for me, if I don't love it, if I don't get excited about it, I'm not gonna list it. It's gonna stay in the death pile. I'm looking right now at some Madewell jeans. Y'all know these jeans because I did them in a video last week that are looking at me because am I gonna list it? I don't know. But are all those vintage pieces that I loved and adored, are they listed? Are all the leather bags listed? Absolutely. So buy what you love. Part of that is also, that goes with one, is that when I go thrifting, and when I go, and I'm switching my mindset to not to say sourcing, because when you say thrifting, you're making it look like it's a casual, oh, I'm going thrifting. No, when I go sourcing for my online business, let's change our words, let's change our mindset. And I have everything written down here, my hair is going crazy, I'm sorry, y'all. When I'm going sourcing for my online boutique, when you say it like that, then it puts you in the mindset of thinking of your target customer, your avatar. As I talk about within Dion Dean Creative, you're definitely welcome to sign up for a strategy session. I'm always thinking with that person in mind. So when you go sourcing, not thrifting, when you go sourcing for your online store, always have that person in mind, and then you will know exactly what to buy. You won't go to the left or the right like I always do when I'm at the bins. Number 3, and I say this, regardless of whether you are selling on an online platform, whatever you're doing, if you have a side hustle of some sort, it's easier when you have an online persona to back you up. My Poshmark closet, when I was on eBay, when I was on Etsy, those were extensions of my brand. You guys know that I love fall and winter. I love a coat, I love a cape, I love a leather bag, I love a leather shoe. All of these are part of my brand. When you build a brand, it's easier to sell on these platforms because your community is supporting your business. Does that make sense? I honestly do not know how to have an online store without a community. I feel like when you, and I'm not paid by Poshmark to say this, that's the blessing of PoshFest. Because when you go to PoshFest, and I know it's coming, they actually do need to sponsor this video. They're not though, they're not. When you go to PoshFest, you're meeting other individuals that have made Posh a living. And a lot of times, again, they have built a brand around Poshmark, and that's why it's easier for them to sell. They know their customer, they know their avatar, they know exactly who they're shopping for. So the third tip would be to build an online persona. If you need help with that, shameless plug, definitely reach out. I'm going to leave a link to a posed strategy session with me where I can help you kind of figure out what that persona is. Do you need to be on Instagram? Do you need to be on Poshmark? Do you need to be on LinkedIn? I absolutely am on LinkedIn. Check me out. Where do you need to be? And what is your online persona? Whatever you are, anybody who's out there who's met me know that who I am here is who you meet when you're at the bins, or if I see you with Neiman Marcus, this is Dion Dean. So again, let's figure that out. If you don't know what your online persona is or who you want to be in the marketplace, I'm going to leave a link where we can figure that out together. So I'm preaching to you as I preach to myself, okay, with number 4. Try to stick within the season that you're in. This is so tempting for any of us who shop the bins, because you know that you can basically open a store for whatever niche. If I wanted to open a maxi dress store, I could do that. If I wanted to open a sweater store, if I wanted to open a denim store, you can basically do anything you want within reason from the bins, right? Or at the bins. And so what I would say is to try and shop in season. Now, within the fashion months, there's definitely cruise wear and things like that. So people are always going to be going on vacation. God knows I'm definitely going to be showing you some summer looks in September and October, or not summer, but sun looks. I'll call them sun looks within September and October because I am going on vacation, right? But just like I'm doing with opening my Posh early in September, I know that I'm going to be sitting on coats for a good minute. I'm going to source them now, but I know that I'm going to be sitting on them because it's still hot outside, right? And so I know that going into that, I know that I'm going to be sourcing items and I'm going to be sitting on inventory. So that being said, to keep yourself from having money just sat up somewhere because you're buying, a bulk of maxi dresses in January when people are typically, if they're not traveling, they're typically looking for fall and winter, save yourself from that. So that's a quick one. And I want to say that everybody knows that, but everybody doesn't live by that, especially when you live by the bins and everything's $1.99 a pound. So preaching to myself here. So number 5 is know your numbers. Again, I am preaching to myself. I could go to the bins every day and I could spend $100 every day. Would that be beneficial to me in my business and things that I want to do with Dion Dean Creative and everything else? Probably not. And so when I say know your numbers, I'm not just saying finances. I'm saying with everything else. You don't want your online business, perfect example, if this is your side hustle, okay, and you say, you know what, I have 10 hours to spend on this side hustle. Don't overwork yourself and then start dipping into other parts of your life and ruining other parts of your life. Like you're staying up late, working 20, 25 hours on your side hustle. Now you can't get to work. Now your boss is mad. Now your full-time job, you about to lose that. So when I say know your numbers financially, but also make sure that you're tending to your garden that feeds you. Okay. So make sure that you have your finances in order, that you're not overspending. Again, I could go to the bins every day. Would that be lucrative for me to just have my money tied up in inventory like that? No, it would not. I'm being very wise with what I'm doing with Dion Dean Vintage and my online business in August, I should say. When we get into the winter months, I can definitely go more often. The temptation is always there. I want to go to Miami every day, but it would not be beneficial to my business. So some of you, again, you may be, taking the side hustle money and do some things with it when you really need to be saving. Maybe you want to get out of your full-time job and you want to go into this full-time side hustle that you want to make your main hustle. Know your numbers, know what you're spending, know what you're bringing in, know how much time you're allocating to this. And it's not it's not just with your online retail business. It can be anything. Know your numbers and what you're spending financially or otherwise so that you don't tap yourself out. So that's it. Just a quick little video, some observations that I'm seeing out there in the marketplace, as well as what I'm noticing about myself in this season. Again, if you are someone who needs assistance figuring out either this online business, social media, brand persona kind of thing, I have my information down there. Sign up. Let's chat. Let's get your business in order. Have a great one. Mwah. Bye.
I never ran, said no, man, I still go.